Okay, today I'm going to read 3 passages for you from The House of Tomorrow by Peter Bognanni. And the first passage starts on page 8. And the passage I'm going to read sets up the tone of the novel. You can see Sebastian's the main character and he's the narrator. And you start seeing issues of isolation versus conformity. Like I said, I'm going to read from the bottom of page 8. I was not allowed to say much of anything to visitors, really. Aside from the fragments of conversation I employed for my sales tactics, I was supposed to remain a silent operative. Most of the time, this was painless enough. The people from town were often loud and very intent on telling me jokes I didn't understand. But every once in a while, I could hardly contain my impulse to speak up to a boy or girl my age. Someone like me, who was also so very much not like me. Those were the moments I could feel my credo slipping to the back of my mind and something else taking over. And at this point, I would ask students, what is that something else that Sebastian's talking about? And also, how is Sebastian different from most people his age? And now the next passage I'm going to read is on page 26. And this talks about change, and it brushes on the theme of identity. And it's when Nana is in the hospital and Sebastian's talking to her. And it's top of 26. You told me once, I said, that physical bodies are just elements and energies. That they are always changing. That's what you said. Nana did not look at me. I mean, some of the things that are me today were just protons in water yesterday. There is no real me. I am a constant state of flux, right? And here I'd stop and I'd ask, so far, what events in Sebastian's life do you consider most influential to the development of his personality and who he is as the main character in this novel? And the last passage I'm going to read is found on page 162, and this shows the dynamic between Jared and Sebastian's relationship, and this is when they're deciding on the name for their band. The Rash? No. But then I heard his hand slap against the wall. Wait, what did you say? He asked. He turned around. The Rash? I said. The Rash, he said slowly. The Rash, I repeated. Wait a minute now, he said. What? Actually, that's sort of badass. Really? Maybe. Why? It's gross, but not too gross. You can almost feel it. The Rash. You can almost feel your skin start to itch, like our sound is spreading like a rash or something. Is that a good thing? I asked. Yeah, you break out when you hear us. Your body won't be able to handle it, because we're the Rash. We sat in silence for nearly a minute. Jared was whispering to himself, but I couldn't make out what he was saying. It's settled, he said eventually. Yeah, it's totally settled. We're the Rash. And at this point, I would have students describe Jared and Sebastian's friendship.